Start recording, or you already did? Okay. We will call this meeting to order at 6:07. Oh, we're a little late today, guys. We were staggering in slowly today. Okay, so meeting has been called to order. I got stuck on the introductions if needed. Is that new, or have I just read it for the first time? Okay. So are there any changes or additions to the agenda?
This one, we have some new hires.
Right. Yes, we should put those on there.
Can we do that first?
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm happy to move that. If you guys want to move that to the first, we will move it to the first. But then you have to hold me accountable to actually move it. Okay. We have had a lot of meetings since our last meeting, even though we skipped April.
Which is why we skipped April, isn't it?
Right.
I don't know which one I was, like, which one were these?
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna give board members a few seconds to.
Can someone just remind me which
The
ones?
22nd was the van.
22nd was the van, I think I was part of that one.
That one.
What was the 4th?
Fourth was a resignation.
Oh, okay, I think I've been to both of those.
Yes, the 4th was
Yeah.
a resignation.
Oh, yeah, the 4th was a resignation. I
Yeah.
think I ignored you and maybe yelled at you.
Okay. Okay.
Unexpected meetings.
Are we ready? Okay. I will take a motion to approve the minutes of March 11th, 2025. I'm gonna get them all approved or motioned, and then we'll vote individually.
Okay,
So I'll take a motion to approve the minutes of March 11th, 2025, April 4th, 2025, and April 22nd.
I move.
Other moves.
I second.
And a seconds. Okay, so I'll now do votes individually, and we're all here, so we don't have to have a roll call. Okay, all those in favor of approving March 11th, 2025, please say aye.
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 I thought I wasn't there for one of them. Aye. Okay, right.
I abstain.
Okay, so that was 4 ayes. All those opposed? And 1 abstention?
Yes.
Okay.
I wasn't there.
Okay, so 4 ayes and 1 abstention. Okay, all those in favor of approving April 4th, 2025, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, April 4th is approved. All those in favor of approving April 22nd, 2025, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstentions? We're good. Okay, public participation announcements. I think leading into discussion later, I am going to thank everyone that helped yesterday and in the previous days to shepherd through our new candidates. And it was just a lot of work and a lot of coordination and a lot of people involved. And then thankfully to everybody. It's my, yeah. Okay, I think we'll turn it over to the administrative report.
Did you get it?
I'll let you, yes, I got it.
Yes.
I'll share mine, yeah, I don't have your added, oops, I don't have your added, person. But, yep, I have 1 in mind. Okay. Oh, that's wrong button. Sorry, I always go share instead of slideshow.
Oh.
Oops. Do you want to share it with us?
Yeah, I will share with you.
Oh, a slideshow.
Right.
So, to start with, just some big pictures of some of the great things that have been happening over the last month. We had a great Title I event that was geared specifically towards grades K through 3. You'll see in those top left and right corners, can't read a lot. It was really wonderful. Tina Skihan, the amazing human that she is, already has some themes and ideas for next year planned. So we're really excited to continue that. She's amazing. And then down on the bottom right, I want to highlight Mr. Foley, who created an entire song around all things Vermont. Like, it's just, I'll have to get it and send it to you all because it's amazing. It's truly amazing. He is incredible, Mr. Foley. Like he's
Well, that
just,
Mr. Foley.
I've heard really rave
He's
reviews
amazing.
from
he
my
really,
early
really
elementary.
is amazing.
Yeah.
They're doing a play too for that.
Yeah, so he's such an incredible part of this school community. We're really lucky to have him, and he's awesome.
And I know,
Can I
like,
add
it
that
was also.
he also wrote a school song.
Yeah, he wrote
Yes.
that's what I, yeah.
Yes,
He-
he's
he wrote
working
a new
on,
s-
yep.
Yeah, song.
Does it go something like Hartland Wildcats go?
No,
It's good.
no,
It's
it's
good.
good.
It's really good.
It's about the bells?
And there's historical
Yeah.
accuracy in it.
Yes, it's really
Yes.
cool, really cool.
Research. When do we all have to, do we have to learn it for graduation? Because that's what we have to do.
That would be great.
For our high school graduation, all the kids have to learn the alma mater or whatever you
Yep,
call it.
yep.
And like, it's like
They
they
are
have to have
learning
them
it.
sing it.
I know, they
So-
already sang it, the
Yeah.
educators know it.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah,
Um,
it's really
Put
amazing.
in the graduation.
I do have one appointment recommendation to bring to you all.
Okay.
His name is Sam August. We would like to have you, pending your approval, as our new middle level ELA teacher. I just wanted to include a little background of him. He got his undergrad in teaching and curriculum from Penn State, his master's degree from Harvard, and has experience teaching both in the outside the Boston area as well as the Ann Arbor, Michigan area, and has returned already to this area.
Oh, good.
Um,
Is he
the
real? That's a real-
Already relocated.
Nice.
The team that interviewed him were incredibly excited. I think he will be an amazing asset to our middle school team, and everyone that was on the committee, which was our entire middle school team, was really, really excited about him. Christine, do you want to add your other, or do you want me to continue to
Do we
move
need to
forward?
move or do we do
Um,
it?
Or do you
Let's
want me to
do-
keep going?
Let's
Okay,
do
so I'll
two
just
new
keep going.
hires at once.
Perfect. I wanted to update you on the school van. It hasn't purchased. The plan is that it should be delivered here May 9th.
Whoa,
So
that's like.
So what did you end up
Yeah,
getting?
it is a Toyota Sienna LE that Jim Taft got for us. He got
Amazing.
it and it'll be
Who's
here
Jim
this
Taft?
week. He's the head of maintenance for the SU.
Awesome. And is this like the part electric hybrid one? Or is this?
No,
the-
I don't think this one
Okay,
is.
cool.
I don't think so. All right, Heather.
So, I'm ready.
I think what I perhaps am looking for from you all is whether you want me to continue potentially moving in this direction that I'll outline in a second, or if you kind of want me to pump the brakes and we can always continue to do what we've been doing. So I guess just looking for a little guidance from you. So the proposal on the table potentially is that algebra will be taught via VTVLC during one of our elective periods. Students would still be able to participate in band and jazz band if they so choose, because in the middle school we have two separate electives. So there's a 30-minute elective, there's a 45-minute elective. Band and jazz band occur during that 45-minute elective. This proposed idea would occur during that 30-minute elective. So, because oftentimes there's overlap in the same students that want to do both of those things, this would allow them to continue to do both of those
So they
things.
could do band, jazz band, and algebra.
Correct. The plus side to this is that students would then take both 8th grade math and algebra, which is not happening currently. If in our building right now, if there's an 8th grade student who is taking algebra, they do not have access to 8th grade math content because that happens simultaneously where students are taking algebra in Windsor and then come over here when 8th grade math is happening here. So over the years, and I will say not only Hartland, but Weathersfield, that's the other, K through 8 school in the SU, have noticed that we're missing concepts. And Heather, I don't know if at some point you want to chime in from.
I'm
You
gonna
have a
chime in
unique
whenever you're
perspective.
done.
All right.
I'm ready.
Heather has a really unique perspective on this as a high school math teacher at one of the schools that is one of the common schools that we send to. We're hoping that it would allow for a better math experience for our students to be more prepared in high school. I checked in with the three larger sending schools. Woodstock, Hanover, Hartford are really the three that we send a large portion of our students to. So Woodstock and Hanover, they don't currently take the high school credit. So what it does, they still are required. So if a student right now is taking algebra as an 8th grader at Windsor, they would start at Woodstock High School if that's where they went, or Hanover at geometry, and they're still required to take 3 years of math. Oftentimes those students may choose to take more than 3 years of math, but that requirement of 3 years is still there. And Hanover, again, different state, but I wanted to
Or is that
highlight
supposed
that.
to be Woodstock and Hartford at the top?
No,
Oh,
Woodstock
okay.
and Hanover are similar in that way.
Okay.
Hartford is different. I kind of put Hanover in two because
They're required
Hanover is
4
in the
years.
state of New Hampshire, which in many ways just runs by a different set of rules because they're in New Hampshire. Yeah, and so for Hanover High School, the state of New Hampshire requires a math or math experience. They might include that as like tech ed in some type of realm, some type of math experience each semester for all 4 years. Woodstock doesn't do that. That's just Hanover and the state of New Hampshire thing. Hartford does take the high school transcript as Algebra 1 as one of their 3 required math offerings. So if you are an 8th grader taking algebra in Windsor and you go to Hartford, that would then be one of the 3. So you could in theory then just take 2 years of math class freshman, whenever, and then meet those 3 math requirements. I'll keep going for now, I think.
And you said, sorry, it wasn't, the end of it said that, so would all these, in Hartford, you said it would continue to take the credit with this change?
Well, from VTVLC, it still would come out as a credit, so that would still be applicable for.
But it would just be a half an hour once a day.
And
As opposed
VTVLC is
to what are they getting
self-paid.
at Windsor?
Probably getting, what are Windsor
45
periods, 45
minutes.
45 minutes,
50 minutes?
50 minutes, but they're losing an additional like 30 of transport time.
Yeah, probably.
But with VTVLC, it's also not
They're missing
taught in
words,
real,
right?
it's also not
Yeah.
taught in real time.
It's a
You know, so they
self-paced
could be
class.
working on it at home for an hour, but they'll
Yeah.
be allotted that time in school to work on it.
And who would be the in-person teacher facilitating that learning?
You would be, the teacher of record for a VTVLC option would be someone employed by VTVLC. So they would be the teacher doing it, but there would be an adult that is monitoring the group of students.
Likely not a teacher.
It may or may not be a teacher. It really, and this is kind of where we haven't flushed out all the details because I wanted to get your thoughts, and then I can go in whatever direction you want me to go in and then bring it back to you.
I mean, you guys are experienced educators. You're doing this in, real time. I remember 8th grade algebra, and I have future children who I imagine might do algebra. I worry a little bit, like if you think about the kids that are doing 8th grade algebra, a lot of those are kids that like love math, right? They have an aptitude for it. And probably the most important thing that we do for them in that year is keep that love of math going. I worry a little bit that by giving them their 2 math experiences, one in a classroom where they're going to be with kids who just are not going to be picking stuff up as quickly, and then the other math experience they get is now remote learning. I worry about that because I think it seems to me that at 8th grade math, like yes, it's important, content and credit's important, but the most important thing is that they leave 8th grade being like, oh, I love math and I'm excited to keep doing this.
Yep, I get that. Heather, you have a very unique perspective, especially as a
Wait, Heather, I'm gonna pop in before you, because I have a strong opinion that's longer term. As an engineering student, if you don't have 8th grade math or 8th grade algebra and have that progression through college, you are starting way behind as an engineer. And engineers, like where I went to school, we were required to take 4 classes a term when other students, all the other disciplines we had to take 5 classes a term, all the other disciplines took 4. Because you have to do so much to get through an engineering curriculum, and a lot of schools like Dartmouth, they have a 5-year engineering curriculum to not do that. So being behind by 1 math class, which is literally when it starts in 8th grade, is really detrimental. And so that's my very strong opinion.
But in either way, they're not losing algebra. It's more just a question of how we provide
I
algebra to them.
I have concerns about this on other fronts, so I'll let Heather.
So I just want to make sure I understand. So your worry about VTVLC is that it
What does that
won't,
stand for, by the way?
Vermont Virtual Learning
Virtual
Center
Learning,
is what I
yeah.
imagined, but
Yeah.
I literally made that up. It did.
I'm worried that kids won't be engaged and
Yeah,
won't follow through.
Yeah, right.
And then
Yeah.
even our really strong math students,
Yeah.
you're essentially asking them to take a class I mean, they are only in 8th grade and we're asking them to take an advanced class on their own.
Yeah, right. That's my worry.
Yeah.
It
So-
seems to me that if we sort of knew that there are gaps, that we say for the algebra kids, we're adding in, like, these are the gaps we have to make sure we fill
They
in some
do
type of
that.
accelerated.
They do that in the algebra class. So like the first 2 or 3 months was all infilling. But I'm gonna let Heather.
What would be interesting to see is to look back at the math scores for those 8th graders that have taken algebra in 8th grade versus not. Like, because if they weren't taught the 8th grade curriculum and then were tested on it, what did that look like? I don't know. Just be interesting.
Okay, Heather, I know that you have the most knowledge and the
Sure.
strongest opinion,
Okay.
so.
So I want to like clear the plate right now because like this is my expertise. This is why you guys all got me here. Is we need to remember that Algebra 1 is by far the most important math class that a kid will ever take.
Yeah.
If they do not have a strong foundation in Algebra 1, like their house that they are building crumbles. So I think that whatever choice we make, we have to keep in mind that Algebra 1 is literally the most important class. Like I've seen it before, I've been there. Like that's why I teach Algebra 1 for 21 years, because I'm not willing to let kids, I mean, no, I'm not figuring it out, I got it. But like, we're not allowing kids to like do poorly in Algebra 1. So with all that being said, I love the idea that you want to bring algebra here. Like I've been waiting for this for a very, very long time. I don't think this is the way to do it. But I commend you. Thank you. Thank you for like taking this on, because I think that it's important that, you know, the kids lose 30 minutes of whatever by driving.
They missed their advisory period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's probably 20 minutes.
Yeah,
They
but-
don't miss on the early side, they miss on, they get out of class at the same time that the kids get out here at first period, but then they travel from Windsor.
But I can also tell you from students who have done this,
Yeah.
they don't particularly love going to Windsor High School. So I feel like I want to pursue this. My suggestion is to try to figure out how you do 8th grade math and 8th grade algebra. So 8th grade math is 8th grade math, and 8th grade algebra is Algebra 1 mixed in with 8th grade content. And like, I know at our school in 8th grade, we have a Math 8 and we have a grade 8 algebra. And we have a curriculum that incorporates all of, you know, like what standards are here. Because we were noticing that when kids were skipping 8th grade, like they were actually further behind when they got to geometry than the kids who took Algebra 1 in 9th grade. And so it actually does a disservice to like to have them skip a grade. So I would like I am so more than happy to help try to figure out how to do a 8th grade and a grade 8 algebra. Like we've got a great curriculum going. To sort of make that work, you guys just have to figure out how to staff that. And so, again, I love this idea, and I'm obviously very passionate about it. And so, like, I will do whatever you need for my help. I am there.
She's so excited to teach 8th
I
grade
know.
algebra.
I'm like, I will even come
that.
teach
She's
it.
really
Yeah.
excited for that.
But I mean, so just so you, I don't know if you realize this, because I didn't realize this is first. Our 8th graders are not in a freshman class.
No,
They
I know
are in
that.
their
Yep.
own.
How
I'm
many
saying
kids
how
are
to
there that
staff
are doing
that
this
in
a
the
year?
sense of like, that teacher there
Oh,
could be
yeah.
teaching that curriculum.
And I
Yeah,
think
us,
there's a
because it's
caveat,
the-
which is
It's not like
interesting.
there's 9th graders.
Yes,
There's-
agreed.
Yeah, us next year, it's gonna be, there's a
So
lot.
the interesting part, so normally on any given year, Hannah, there might be 15 kids, 8th graders from Hartland, there might be 8, it depends on the year. The interesting piece, which Heather, maybe this is you and I sit and we can brainstorm, not during this meeting,
Yeah.
but and after the fact, it is a small cohort of kids that is a rising 8th grader. It is the one single class of about 15 to 16 total.
It's like 15.
Like that's the whole grade.
And we
It's just
tried-
one, so it just makes it an interesting factor to consider.
Yeah.
Not impossible, just
And Weathersfield
And do you know how
says
many
as
will do
well,
algebra
right?
next year?
So we tried
don't
getting
yet.
an account and like out of fun and math, and there was only like 4 or 5 of us planning.
The other thing I do want to stress, there's like a couple things I want to stress. Like, one, we need to be really careful about how students are going into grade 8 algebra. And the reason why is because, again, some kids are just not ready and they're getting pressure from their friends, they're getting pressure from their parents that like, this is what they have to do to stay on track. And again, I've seen it over a million years that like a lot of times if a kid isn't ready, they actually do worse than if they had waited one more year. And like, it's just one of those things. And to Nikki's point about like being rigorous to get to be an engineer, like we all in high school, we all have pathways for kids that if they start in 9th grade, they can make it to calculus, AP calculus, by senior year. They just have to double up in their sophomore year in geometry and algebra 2, but it is completely doable. And for a kid who's motivated because they know that like this is what they're doing, it is like some of the best calculus students have been the ones who have literally waited until 9th grade to take algebra 1 and then go on in because they've got the maturity, they've got like some really strong skills that their other friends didn't get because they were rushing ahead.
There's a really great expression in the Suzuki violin world that says that a dandelion grows faster at first than an oak tree. And just the idea that like it's not how fast, it's not how fast you do that early learning. It's like sometimes the really sturdy learning takes a long time.
I wonder, Heather, if this is a scenario where we put a pause, and you and I connect between now and the next board meeting, which I think is the retreat, and then maybe we have a different conversation.
Or before the next SU board meeting, because this, Angie brought to my attention, this is an SU decision to create this curriculum base.
Yeah, because it also is going to affect Weathersfield, right?
Well, Brian presented to his
And
board
Windsor.
this past month, they're gonna go with the VTVLC option.
Okay. Are they gonna do both 8th grade and VTVLC, or are they
I
gonna?
think they're going to do it in
Oh,
a
God.
somewhat similar way to the scenario that I just
Okay.
But it doesn't have to be, I mean, it'll be on the agenda for the next SU board
Okay.
meeting for
So
discussion
maybe
as well.
we put a pause to this, Heather, you and I connect.
I
between
would
now and
love something that would help me is because I'm also heavily judging VT VLC. I have like the idea of having my kids sit in front of a computer, take a class. I'm judging it harshly,
No,
and I don't know, and it's not fair because I really know nothing about it. So I think just learning more about how it works, what it looks like, how it feels like would be really helpful because I would just be like Googling it.
Before I pause, can I just add real quickly? Like, I did this in
Yeah.
Manchester and Dorset. We had students,
That's
because
just
we
about
didn't have
the
enough
right.
to have algebra class, and the other choice was to have them go to Manchester every day from Dorset. So we had, my first year, we had 2 students who were actually taking geometry that first year out of COVID. They'd taken algebra as 7th graders with VTVLC. They were doing geometry. But they were still doing the 8th grade math, and they were picking up stuff that they were applying to geometry by going through that 8th grade math class. The next 2 years I had 2 students, and then I had 1 who had qualified for it, and they were in class taking the 8th grade math class and doing well. But at the same time, they were an extra set of eyes and hands and took on some responsibility with being almost like a tutor in class to their classmates, which was really, really helpful. They didn't do any of the VTVLC stuff in school. That was all done outside of school. But when they had questions, they did come to me as their math teacher, and I'd be more than happy to help facilitate that. I'm just not available every single day, the same period. So I would be a resource here
And that's,
for those who are taking it.
I mean, I know we're gonna come back to this because we have a lot of other stuff to do, but I would say that if we could find a proctor for the VTVLC class that was engaging and made even just questions fun, that I could see, but that's like a big ask too.
Yeah, right. Even if it was like, right, because if it's asynchronous, but there is some time, I do worry though if it's just that there's an adult like making sure they're sitting at their
I know.
computers, that feels like it could be really.
Also be really distracting. To our computers, it's not just the one site, it's you have all your other tabs. So if like a kid really doesn't want to do a lesson, you can't see that, like there's light speed things, but also like workbooks are really helpful to us because of like imaging, I feel like is a lot better.
It's a big decision. So
No, it is, and that's why I kind of wanted your pulse, like, we need a decision now, but I think that what I'm hearing from you, I think it makes sense, Heather, you and I connect after this, and then perhaps you and I together can have, kind of lead a conversation the next time we meet.
I think that would be lovely.
Okay.
I would love to do that, Lindsay Perkins.
I love that. Okay, perfect. All right, so Emily, then I'm gonna turn it over to you.
So I kind of roped in the end of March because we didn't have an April meeting, but we'll start with April. So we had our usual spring concerts, which were separate, and didn't go to the choir concert, so hopefully went really well.
Swimming goes.
Okay, yeah, that's good to hear. And then the band concert, I know a lot of kids enjoyed. A lot of kids like the band concert. It's just fun. So was a choir concert. They're all fun. Then we had cognitive testing, which was like
So fun.
that.
Oh, yeah.
So
that
so much
that
fun.
was so much fun.
So fun.
So
So
fun.
fun.
It was.
Not done.
We're still waiting
I'm
on the
still
survey.
buying for everything.
So Martin never made the survey. So
Okay.
Just
For
because
state
I haven't
testing.
bought it.
Yeah. No worries, we can do that.
so yeah, just cognitive testing felt like forever. Right side, we got to this math, our class at least did. Awesome. And then we had spring break, which everybody enjoyed. And I got really bored, but I know that's okay. And then recently we had, actually that's not, oh no, that was in April. We had the pancake breakfast, the 7th grade. We raised a lot of money.
$1,200.
Was it 12?
Nice.
Oh, wow,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
okay.
So
was
that
that
gives us
much,
the
yeah.
dinner is gonna be a good haul.
Yeah, but we were really proud of ourselves. We had a lot of people show up too. And then some people didn't show up, but then we had more people who could come and be like, yes, I can serve for a few hours. So it was nice having people. And you had the play, which is at the end of March. They were a great fan, Charlie Brown, which was also really good. A lot of people came to come see and support.
Yep.
And then we have 3rd grade. This was fun to read all their papers. So last month, 3rd grade learned about like the Native American, like all the different Native American tribes and what they do. So they were supposed to make a poster, and then their choice of like picking up food or a diorama. I can't say words of them like hunting or fishing, just like something cool that they were clear, so teacher could really see that they were paying attention in class. But I always liked doing those little kids. But a lot of kids actually did like doing this project, and then there was a few kids who just wrote this was really boring on the paper. I'm like, okay. So it's like better to be honest than not.
Thank you, Emily. So some upcoming events, we have kindergarten registration on the 22nd and early release on the 23rd.
Any idea how many we got one
Is it
kindergartner
oh,
right there.
yeah.
we have
There's
there.
a kindergarten over there. We were somewhere in the round of 20. I should have asked Linda before.
So is it?
I think there might be more. Like that was a little, like a few weeks back that I asked that of Linda.
How many was that, 20-ish?
It was 20-ish,
Oh, it's like an art
but I don't know the
class.
exact number. We'll have to
Okay.
see. Usually we get more and more. I will take as many as
28 would be nice.
yes, correct. It would be a great number.
How about 32?
I know,
16,
35.
16.
I know.
Would be great.
50, why stop at 30?
Wait,
know.
we
Yeah,
get-
keep on.
No,
Yeah.
next, not this year, you get one the following year, then one the following year after that, and 2 years, then you get another one.
Okay.
I'm doing my best here, okay?
Keep populating. because
No,
I think
we're done.
these baby factories here are done. So,
We're
you know,
done.
these baby factories can keep going.
Last one was killed me, literally.
Come
Yeah,
on,
it- yeah.
literally.
He
put me
literally
in
did
the
almost
fire.
kill her. So I'm out. Retired.
Okay, fine. Will you keep populating?
No, we're done too.
Come on.
Four's enough.
Yeah, I saw you guys walking to town the other day, it looked like enough. It's like a whole wagon full of children with an extra one on the front, I was like, man. it's
Okay.
incredible.
All right.
Okay.
We digress.
We
Just
went
a little bit from me tonight. So just it seems crazy that it's already the end of the year. It's
We're not
by,
retired.
and
Man, I'm gonna be
a few weeks left in the year, but we are really busy hiring, as Nikki pointed out at the beginning. We had a big hire here, but hiring across the SU. We are finding that we're getting a few more applicants this year than we have in the past few years, which I think is really hopeful and promising, because the outlook for the future of teacher shortage doesn't go away. So,
Can I add one thing? Sorry, I didn't think of this until now. At least in Hartland, we've had a pretty low turnover rate from this year
Yes,
to
yes,
next,
yeah.
which is really, really
That's
good.
good.
That's really
Bless
good.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Sorry, I think we're home in the.
Do we have
Do we track that data?
We do.
Do we have any open teaching positions right now?
We have one
one.
PE teacher,
Wow.
that
That's
is,
right.
we're in the interview process as we speak.
Yeah, so that's great.
Yeah, really.
We did have our instructional team leaders met last week with our new curriculum instruction and assessment director, Bridget Ferriel. And it was a really robust meeting, I guess is a good word to talk, to put to it. We got a lot done. We talked about a lot. There's a change in leadership, and that's exciting. And there's a lot of forward movement planned, which is also pretty exciting. So we talked a lot about instructional coaching and what that looks like across the SU and how important it is in supporting our teachers. So that program, that was Angie's kind of baby. It took a while to get it, but we have coaches in every building, and that's pretty impressive in our relatively small SU, and they do a great job, but they're learning how to be coaches as they're coaching, which is, happens in education all the time, right? Building while we're flying while we're building it.
Yeah.
So, but Bridget's gonna lead that work, and I have every confidence that it'll be just what we need. The team worked on the assessment calendar for next year, so that's when we're taking STAR assessments, and we don't have a lot of leeway with BT CAP, but we do some other assessments. We're required to do an early learning screener now. You all know that under Act 139, so we'll be doing DIBELS. The team talked about the DIBELS data being much more really gives you better information than the STAR early literacy. So we're going to use DIBELS for K2 as our kind of benchmark. And then at the end of second grade, the students will take the STAR reading. So talked about things like that. They're working on the fall professional development plan. We've heard from our teachers across the SU that they really do want more time in grade level cohorts to talk about curriculum. And so we're going to build that into the plan.
And Christine, when you say that, are you saying that so all SUs will, like
all
individual,
third graders and, third
but like
grade
all
teachers.
third graders through the whole SU?
Yeah.
That'll be lovely.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's really needed. Student programs, they will not have the time to dig into those and talk about them and plan common assessments and all of the work that our teachers do. They're working on our literacy plan, which is part of Act 139. It was started this year and it should be finished up. And then, the summer work that they're gonna do. So that was a really great and exciting meeting, and they're all pretty, I guess excited is the best word, to work together. It's a strong dynamic team, so I think we'll make some great headway.
Make sure you use the term CIA
Always.
for them.
CIA.
Good.
Yep. So this I presented at the SU board meeting on last Monday, and I can certainly, if you click on it, it links. I know some of you weren't there.
On the
Click on the
picture.
document, yeah, it'll come up.
I wasn't there because one, it was my birthday and I was flying to Arizona. And two, am I supposed to get an email like I normally get that says like when the board meeting is?
You should.
You should.
You did not.
I didn't go on.
That's gonna be my excuse. I didn't get
Okay.
an email
For the SU
for
board.
the
meeting.
SU board
Okay,
meeting,
I'll talk to Lori
which is
about that.
weird because I feel like
Yeah.
I've been getting
Do you
emails.
need to review again?
Because weren't you were on this?
I
You were.
was, but I'm not anymore.
Yeah.
No,
Did
I
you still
took
get
your
the emails?
place.
I know.
Thank you. I love you.
I might have
I'll double check Heather.
Maybe I'll put in.
Because I was like, oh my God, there's a board meeting. And then I was like, well,
Yeah, you're fine.
there's my birthday.
We talked about H454. There, last week, a little bit over a week ago, the Senate Education Committee came out with their response to H454. I just heard yesterday that another draft came out, 9.1, with further changes.
Woo.
None of them are great. in my
None of
opinion.
this did, because they don't have anyone in education being actually
Yeah.
on this.
But they did take out the size.
They took out the
intent.
class size and the school size.
School size
intent.
intent.
They did.
Okay, that's good.
But they
Yeah.
also took away the task force with people in the field that do the job, helping to figure out, really what's needed in terms of consolidation.
Fabulous.
So, yep, there's information on boundaries.
Scroll down to that.
Yeah, they took out school and class size. That is correct. They changed in the House version. There are statewide. There was a proposal for a statewide calendar, a statewide financial and student information system, and statewide graduation requirements. In the Senate version, the graduation requirements stayed. In the section on school closure and transition to paying tuition, the Senate version does not include that provision. The House version requires districts that close schools to designate up to 3 public schools rather than moving to full choice tuitioning. Stated on construction, they stayed the same, which is we need a program for stated construction, especially if there's going to be consolidation in buildings.
Mega
that need to be
schools.
built.
Yeah, they're gonna make mega schools, someone's gotta fund it.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, they're gonna tear down Hartford.
They're going to- they might have to.
60% of it.
Seems like just build,
Just 60
pay,
It just,
Because of PPCs and
One
have to.
here.
So,
so are we just gonna build a new, can we just build a new building in the middle of
I mean, I
Hartland?
think they have to build that to house their kids, so it just, it's all a little bit.
No, I mean, there's parts that were like they needed to leave immediately,
Yeah,
like their culinary arts
exactly.
program had to leave.
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
They're in another location, yeah.
It's really sad.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
really sad, like I feel really bad for them.
Good
Yeah.
luck for those kids.
And teacher, I mean,
Yeah,
and
but
teachers,
that's
teachers
right.
that have been there for.
Yeah. For tuition eligibility, the Senate expands tuition eligibility in the House proposal. It allowed tuitioning to independent schools that had at least 51% of their student enrollment.
Go figure, one's written by public
Yeah.
school representatives and the
One's
other's written
not.
by private school representatives.
And the Senate is 25%, and that's based on this year's numbers. And the Senate bill allows out-of-state tuitioning to public and private schools in neighboring states and provinces. And the House bill does not allow that to private schools. State Board of Education appointment authority. In the House version, it allows the House and Senate to each have the power to appoint one state board member each without expanding the board, and the Senate version does not give that provision. Tuition payments, tuition paid to public or independent schools equal to the base amount and any weights that the student carries in the foundation amount, and that is not in the Senate version. I will be honest, I have not had a chance to look at the side by side of the version that came out Friday. I got it yesterday, and I was a little bit busy, so.
I don't know if you can keep it up. Like, I don't
It
know if anyone
changes
can
all
keep
the
up
time.
with this. There's like,
No,
It
like,
changes.
it's a new thing. It's like
all
the wind
time.
blows and you're like, oh, here comes a new one.
I mean, the education opportunity payment, which they're talking about, which is the foundational formula, did get a document today, and I just briefly looked at it, and when you look at it, it'll give you the district and how much the payment would be next year, this year and next year. I will say Hartland's payment decreases significantly based on.
Meaning what?
It means it's based on like a average student per pupil cost.
Okay.
And I think it's changed. It was like 13.9 now. I think it's 14.8-ish. And then there are additional weights for certain things.
Yep.
That changes all the time as well. There is an opportunity for districts to spend more. There's a way to do that. I think up to 10% more. But if you think about the per pupil, I mean, just put it in simple terms, think about the per pupil cost currently for Hartland, it's 18, almost 19.
Yeah.
To go to less than 15 would be a pretty significant change.
Especially when the high schools are charging.
Right.
And they got rid of the tuition provision.
Yes.
So like, what will schools do? Because like, if you don't even have the ability to raise capital,
Right, you will decrease your resources. That's I don't know how else you would do it.
Whatever happened to the town coming up with a difference? That's
Can only come up with 10%
You can
more,
come up
but
with
they don't want it to drive like
$1,500
inequity.
still does not get you to.
So I mean, this is, nothing is set in
Yeah.
stone. I'll just keep.
It's just hard to know when to, I'm
So
realizing,
when do you panic?
when do you start like yelling at them?
They are in,
Yeah.
they're in,
Anna, can I
Yeah.
watch when you start?
they're in committee. I think I heard Elizabeth say they're going to, they're not gonna pass it back to the House. They're gonna be in, there's a name for it, small committees, negotiating. So there's some people from the House and the Senate. Then it goes to the full House and Senate, and it's an up or down vote, whatever comes out of there. So there's no changing it. It's either yes or no, and then it goes to the governor.
And is he still saying he'll veto at this point? Do you know?
Last I heard, if it doesn't do what he wants it to do, yes. But
So then we'll just be back at square one
I'll
again.
be back.
Yeah.
And there'll be no
Could be.
movement and then,
Could be.
you know?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I just,
It's
they can't do it overnight. Like, I don't think that they're thinking about how schools impact communities.
Yeah, and there's a provision in it, like if it doesn't get done, there's something in it that I was reading that it almost goes back to the community, like Act 46.2 or on steroids or something like that.
I mean, the reason that Act 46 failed is it was implemented too quickly.
Yeah.
Towns were not given enough time.
And towns are still struggling. Those towns that were forced to consolidate, they're still struggling. The new principal that, I don't know if you talked to them
Yeah.
last night, he went through that. in
Well,
his
and Maine
meeting.
is still trying to undo their consolidation.
Yeah.
Just a
so-
reminder, consolidation does not save money. Like they've done studies, it just doesn't save money.
Yeah.
And it just causes a lot of harm,
A lot of harm.
especially a lot of community harm.
So I'll keep you updated. That's what I've got for tonight.
Yeah, I took
Okay.
my thing off because that was.
Oh,
the
yeah,
end
yeah,
of the year.
yeah, slides.
Okay. So items for discussion. I'm going to revisit the agenda. I think we've already talked about algebra and we'll come back to it. And I think we already talked about the school band. Okay. I'm going to move our new hires discussion to the top. And I will turn it back over to,
Yeah, so I have a principal candidate to bring to the board tonight for your approval. Most of you met him last night, but Heather was
I
there.
didn't, I'm sorry.
He's a Yankees fan.
Well, in that case, what are we doing?
His name is Frank Romeo, and he is from South Royalton, so right up the road.
From where?
He has
South Royalton, sorry.
South Royalton, yeah. He's been a principal for, he has administrative experience, last 12 or 13 years. He's been a principal at the Claremont Middle School for the past 7 years. So he's coming from New Hampshire, back to Vermont. He worked in Vermont before. He was an assistant principal at South Royalton School. He's got a ton of middle school experience, which I think is wonderful, for Hartland. Prior to that, he was a teacher. He's been involved in a U.S. history teacher for, half a dozen years, 7 years. He's been an adjunct professor. Before that, he worked in finance. So he's from New York, worked in finance, but that was not his calling.
And lots of coaching.
And he's done lots of coaching. Yeah,
Still
lots
coaches.
lots of coaching. So he went through a very rigorous process yesterday, and prior to that, through the screening committee and the whole, that first stage of the game. And I think you were part of that. And yesterday he met with students, he met with the instructional leaders, the interventionists, he met with Heidi and Linda, that's an important one. The board, he met with the administrative team, he had community interviews, so he was very, there was a big vote of confidence for Frank to be the principal.
And you guys had a conversation this morning?
Yes.
It just followed just a couple of questions and just wanted to make sure that, I think seeing if we gelled, which was really nice. We met in 2 of the groups yesterday.
Awesome.
So we had these conversations, and it was great.
Yeah, so very excited. Would love your approval so we can move forward with
Frank Romeo.
Okay.
It doesn't really flow as good as Lindsay Perkins, but it's gonna have to be
You have
Frank
to learn.
Romeo, wear out the.
What if that's what the kids are like, Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah.
Exactly. And then we had Sam August as well. Yeah. Okay.
You don't need me to recap. Yeah, is that fine? Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Has
Um,
nobody-
Or the grown-ups have.
The grown-ups.
Yes.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I meant, not the
I
kids.
know.
You'll like it, you'll like it.
Okay. I will take a motion to hire Frank Romeo as the new principal and Sam August as the new middle level ELA.
So moved.
There's a second.
I second.
Okay, Beth, second Ryan. Is there any further discussion? Except that we're excited to have these two
When-
boxes filled.
What is the transition gonna look like between Lindsay Perkins and Frank Romeo?
I think that's what Christine and I now need to figure out.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, Lindsay, we've talked about, getting her documents in order so that he has a good map of things. He'll have Michael, he'll have a strong team. I think, when we talk about the retreat, I'd love to invite him.
Let's not forget Linda.
And Linda and Heidi have a
Yes,
lot.
I know, they probably run the building more than anybody.
And
That's
he,
the-
and he has a lot of principal experience, which is great. A lot of experience with middle school schedules, which I think is a good
Yeah.
bonus for us. But there'll be time for Lindsay and me to
Okay.
work together. Yeah.
And so he'll be starting July 1.
He officially starts July 1, but I'm sure he'll come over before July 1.
Okay.
So he's very, very excited. Very excited.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We are too.
He's about to inherit a super awesome school.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. Okay, I will take a vote. All those in favor of hiring Frank and Sam, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? We have hired
Awesome.
Frank Romeo and Sam August. Can I just say, between the two of them, they have lived in every place that I call home.
Me too.
Oh,
Yeah, Ann Arbor,
oh, that's so funny.
Baltimore.
Moncton, like Frank coached 2 miles from my house. Yeah, and
Nikki, you just got so many connections.
I know.
Long Island? Did you spend time on Long Island?
No, it wasn't Long Island.
Those years in the
Sam
Hamptons?
had. I checked the Long Island box off for it.
I used to live in the Hamptons.
My husband went to Penn State.
Oh, that's what it
Sam
was.
on
It was the Pennsylvania connection too.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Pennsylvania?
Central PA.
Yeah, born and raised, Central Pennsylvania, my friend. We talked about
Careless?
this.
No,
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 my
your
husband.
husband.
No, Romeo's from Long Island.
I know. He's
No,
so
Sam
together.
August.
Sam,
August.
where's Sam from?
He's from
I don't know.
Central PA.
He was at Penn State.
I can't
You went
recall
to
off the
Penn
top of my
State,
head.
too.
Yeah, he went to Penn State, but I'm not sure
Yeah, lots
if
of
that is where
people
he
go to Penn
originates
State.
from.
We'll invite him to the first board meeting when he gets. I know, and then we'll get it, yeah.
Yeah.
Michael remembers what the first board meeting was like.
Everybody has everything in common.
Exactly, that's right, that was really weird. Okay, moving on. Tax anticipation note.
Yes, so
Do we have to sign that today?
you don't have to sign it today. You
Okay.
have to sign it next month.
Okay.
You
Can we
sign it
just
like
sign it
30
today if we
days.
need to?
It has to be like 30 days prior to the current one expiring, which is June 30th. So you have to sign it in June. But we approve it tonight because we're at our retreat in June and we try not to make decisions. In June. So the amount is, it is a 5.85 fixed rate. That's just hot off the press. It dropped a little bit from the last time we spoke to the bank. The amount is $2,838,830.79. So that needs to be part of the motion.
Okay.
Got that?
Got it.
I feel like the sense business is a little crazy.
Yeah, I don't think you need to rate, Nikki, just name out.
Yeah, okay. And I will say for any public that watches this, the tax anticipation note is for when we have not yet collected taxes from the town, but still need to pay our teachers on a monthly schedule, or any other of our budgetary items. So we borrow a little bit, we pay it back, we borrow a little bit, we pay it back.
Sometimes we don't have to. But
Right.
Sometimes we do.
And
So
I
we always
don't-
have to be ready.
Expect that we'll go to the full 2.8 million, but we will have the option. Okay, so I will take a motion to approve the 25-26 school year tax anticipation note for a value of $2,838,830.79.
Yep, make a motion for that big number?
So moved.
I can second.
Okay, Heather, Matt.
Says the math teacher.
Yeah.
No,
Hey, wait.
says someone who can't remember all those numbers right now.
The dyslexic read a number accurately. That is like my biggest stress. Okay, is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, abstentions? We are moving on. Okay, substitute pay. We talked about that at the SU, and I think we talked about $150. And we need to approve that as a board.
You do, it's been approved at the other districts, and at the SU level, you're done.
And we basically made it so it was in line with surrounding communities.
Yes, yeah. And so that hopefully we have more people that want to substitute.
Correct. That's the
Okay,
goal.
I will take a motion to increase the substitute pay to $150, and I believe that's for the 25-26 school year. Anybody want to make that motion?
So moved.
Okay, Hannah, is there a second?
Second,
Heather? Okay, any further discussion?
just wondering, and I don't know what it looks like here, but do recruiting subs and also like sort of kind of giving them a little bit of training, is that something that happens here?
We do our best, to go through all the logistics, Linda and Heidi, with them. We've had a number of the same people that have subbed for a while, but we're always putting it on and off in the Wildcat Weekly. I think Linda's trying to post it everywhere she can. Linda and Heidi have a lot of outreach and connections across the community, so we're always looking for subs.
Onboard is not fantastic.
No, I think it could be
Is that-
improved upon.
Yeah, I think that's something that like, if substitutes know like a lot more information, I think they're much more apt to stay subbing and be more effective as opposed to like, here you go, here's a room of
Yeah.
17 kids.
And we try, especially like when a sub is new, to start them in like, maybe they're subbing as a support staff in a classroom for a day, like that we're not just day one putting them in a classroom
Yeah,
by themselves with 15, 17 kids.
I think some onboarding might be,
We actually have 2 permanent subs at high school,
yeah, that's,
and they're basically paid like about the rate of a paraeducator.
Yeah.
And it is amazing, like it was so worth it.
yeah.
It was so helpful.
You're gonna have to increase your sub line to do that here.
You gotta just, your step.
Increase your sub line.
Yeah.
In the budget.
Yeah.
We do it, Windsor has 2 or 3, I think. It is really.
It is.
In the long run,
That was
yeah.
the person, yeah. So-
Yeah, I was a sub.
Frank, anything
Yeah.
else?
Yeah. Take notes for it.
Okay,
Those are before.
we did not move this. We moved it, but we haven't.
No,
voted.
no, I
I
asked
seconded
you
the
a
motion.
question.
We have discussion and now we
Yeah.
take a vote.
Yeah, okay, all
How much
those
was
in
it before?
favor, what?
How much was it before?
100.
125.
Oh, 125. All those in favor of increasing the substitute pay, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, abstentions? Okay, that passed 5.
Christine, just out of curiosity, does this now put sub pay over paraeducators? No.
They get benefits and stuff, so you
No.
can't.
Yeah,
Not
well,
with
no,
them.
it's just a conversation we had.
Yeah.
Closer, but nothing. Okay.
I am now on setting the next agenda, which is our board retreat. Which is what?
It's in the calendar for June 3rd.
June 3rd.
Can we stick with that? I think June 3rd feels, it's Tuesday, right?
It's a Tuesday. It's the first, it's your regular.
So it's our
meeting,
regular meeting.
Alaska's involved in some.
Says a 5 o'clock start, is that
right? We
right?
usually start at 5,
Yeah.
but it can be whatever you
Hold
want.
on, I gotta check all the calendars.
What are you looking at over there?
I have it starting at 5
What?
instead of 6.
Yeah, no, I just.
Oh, is that a Michigan
Calendar,
week?
it's fine.
It can be adjusted. That's just a placeholder. You all
Isn't
pick
there,
one.
wait, I also am worried, can I just say one other thing? I think that there's a second grade baseball game that just got moved to them. So I have like 2 things that make it not ideal, but
On the 3rd.
mhm.
You're Lewandowski.
Why don't we,
We do it 1
can we
week
do the
later?
10th or the 17th?
Yeah, with the 10th work.
I mean, we've got Lindsay until July 1st or June 30th.
I've got Weathersfield on the 10th.
17th?
Right.
Are you already on vacation?
No, we work
Our
that
kids
week.
are.
Yeah. We are not, I mean,
When is your last day of school? You haven't told me yet.
it's
The
either the
16th?
13th or the 16th.
What
It's
about
like
the, can we do
kids-
Monday the
No, it's
9th?
Oh,
Monday, June 9th?
We could do.
I have
No, that's Weathersfield graduation, sorry.
Thank-
Weathersfield is like really hogging all the time.
We could do the 16th?
We do the 2nd?
Is the 16th good?
The 16th is Mount Scottney.
Oh, okay. Well, someone's gonna have to.
Sorry.
I think our computer's gonna turn off.
Yeah,
Oh,
22nd.
Oh, Grace,
I finally did that.
thank you.
The
Second works.
I mean, the second's no better for me, so if you'd rather just keep the
Oh.
third.
So you
but
have,
don't wanna miss
Oh,
the
I guess there's
game.
baseball game is, okay, that's right.
You're saying Monday the 2nd.
Well, okay, that's fine.
Monday the 2nd.
It's just,
Can
what
you
happened is
tentatively
Mascoma
put
June 5th got rescheduled to June 3rd. So, yeah, so Monday would be better than me, for me, I
So
guess.
June 2nd.
Will it work for you, Hannah? Monday?
I'm Heather. That's Hannah.
Sorry.
The H's.
The H's,
they all
look right at you and
Heather
say,
Mounds.
yeah, does that work?
Yeah.
Well, no, they don't, yeah, no, you don't usually go to the three, no.
We had a lot of Heathers.
Monday the 2nd. Okay, so June 2nd, I'm happy with 5
That's an
o'clock and I'm happy to host
I
again.
was just gonna say to do one.
I know, Nikki, can we come to your house? It's so close to my house. I love that.
Nikki's
I'm happy
house.
to host.
Are you doing a potluck again?
Yes.
Would
Does
you
that
like-
work?
Would you like me to send out a spreadsheet?
If you need the babysitter.
That's true. Could you
Actually, you know
babysitter?
what? Yeah, send Morgan and Emily.
Yeah.
Okay, we found your
Babysit your
babysitters
kids.
for Monday.
Who is it?
Wait,
Jordan and Emily.
I have my babysitter card.
There you go.
There you go.
Jordan's not even legit.
No,
That's awesome. All
Morgan
right.
did rescuer CPR. She did like fire department CPR.
Yeah, I
course.
got my
Doing
CPR.
that,
She
yeah, adult
did, she
CPR.
did do the Red Cross, like
Oh,
babysitting
well,
one.
That was intense.
So,
Is
but
there
agenda, is there anything
Is there
specific
anything
we
we
can
have to do
Um,
specific you want on the agenda?
Well, I think we need to welcome Frank.
Okay.
It's Frank Romeo.
Frank Romeo.
Is he gonna come to that?
I'll invite him.
We have to invite him.
I mean, I feel like he has to.
Yeah, actually, I would
Like,
say
this
that.
is-
Emerson and my boat.
If it's not in his contract.
I would honestly say that we should move the
You
date.
can-
if we
He can't make
You
it.
can say Heather says you have to be there.
Yeah, so just so you know, yeah.
Well, Beth,
But people
not all
say
of
I
us are
have
so
to do
stubborn.
things.
Some of us
I think
are
that's
not
called
so
demand, I
stubborn.
think that's called
Uh,
demand avoidance.
I think,
Oh, absolutely.
You want to survey yourselves again?
yeah,
Okay.
you did a board
I
survey.
can send you the survey. You should
Um,
probably take it annually
Yeah,
and set your goals for next year.
yeah.
Okay.
And I guess, Lindsay and Michael, if you guys had anything that you wanted us to, improve upon, brainstorm, discuss at the board meeting.
I don't have a lot to compare to. This has been a super great experience so far for me. So
Awesome.
no criticism.
I was waiting
But
for what
maybe,
came after
but
this.
maybe you guys
I
can
know.
gather teacher,
It's still
like
6 weeks.
teacher support staff feedback if people are feeling something about whatever it is
Yeah.
that we're doing. Like, I feel like we need to all be open to
Yeah.
feedback and
Yeah.
hearing what others have to say.
Yeah, I mean, we could almost ask our staff to grade.
Do you want,
the board.
one of you did it?
No, she wants to- not
Or
those
like
pieces.
maybe what they, I'm not gonna wordsmith this a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
something like, what are some things they'd like to see or discussions they'd like the board to have?
Yeah.
Something along
Yeah.
those lines, I could
Or
wordsmith.
like,
that
can
would
we
be
get a
super helpful.
faculty representative to be on the board?
Yeah.
I would love a faculty representative on the board.
Well, we have some that come.
They
We
come.
do, but like,
Yeah.
I feel like I would love them to be in that chair over there.
Yeah.
So we can have like a faculty report
Yeah.
as well, because I feel like really
We used
important.
to.
I'm ready.
Yep.
Put that on Frank's list, please.
Got it.
Okay, yeah, so, and I think that,
Louis said it was okay.
I think that this is a kind of cool year that we don't have to really get to know each other, so.
Yeah.
As a board,
Yeah.
but we do need to
And
get to
now we
know.
don't get any review.
Now I'm a little afraid
have
that
a
we're
little
gonna
social
intimidate
time.
him.
No, I think you'll fit right in.
Yeah.
You'll fit right in.
No, I think. Oh, that's right. He's good. Okay.
I don't know what's going on.
Poor guy. Okay. He doesn't know what he's going into. Okay, I think that we have set the next agenda. I do not think we need an executive session that I know of. I think we're all set. I would take a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Second. Okay, I think that was Heather's way of saying move. And I think
Adjourn.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Christine, thank you for baking for us.
You're very
I was